Hey, good morning. This is Sean, and this is 5-Minute Mornings. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time, however you found it. Congrats. I'm happy for you. So what's the progress that you've been making so far with these 5-minute morning trainings? I'm really curious. And if you have a second, go ahead and pop in the comment below, and I'm happy to start a dialogue with you because I think this stuff is really interesting. And so what I want to talk to you about today is something I think is really important. It's the question of how committed are we to our goals? And I was reading a book recently by Robert Dilts. It's called Sleight of Mouth. And at first it sounds a little weird. And as you read it, it really is a manual of how you can change certain aspects of your life using a technology called NLP. Anyway, there's long explanations to accompany that. What you should know is I'm very much so open to whatever technique there is out there that works. If it works, it's fantastic. And there are a couple techniques in NLP specifically that work really well. So if you're open to it, go ahead and check out. It's called Sleight of Mouth. Robert Dilts, again, D-I-L-T-Z, is the author. But I'm going to pull 5 questions from that book because they're really important in terms of assessing how much we believe we'll actually be able to accomplish the goals that we set for ourselves. What it can do when we ask these questions, and it's only 5 questions, so it's really simple, is that when we answer these questions, they'll give us a glimpse of where we could start to see potential issues. So let me, instead of talking more about it, let me ask you the questions first, and then we'll kind of break down each one and what I think they mean. And they're really cool. So when you set a goal, the first question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how desirable is this goal for you? For you in particular, right? For you personally. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most desirable, 1 being the least desirable possible. How would you rate that? How would you rate that 1 through 10? And so go ahead and do that now if you need to pause. Number 2 is, how possible is it? Do you have everything you need? Do you have the resources? Do you have the skills? How possible on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely possible, 1 being not possible at all, how would you rate the possibility of your goal? And again, you can pause if you need to, at any time. Number 3, how appropriate are these goals? So that is to say, is it a good idea for you, for the people around you, and for the greater group of people, your community, that you're going to try to accomplish this goal in the hopes of actually achieving it, right? And again, 1 through 10, that's the scale. 10 being it is very appropriate, the most appropriate it could be for those 3 groups. Again, yourself, the people just immediately around you, your friends and family. And then the third group being the community in general. You could kind of think about that as everybody else that exists on the planet, basically, because we're pretty much a global community at this point. Question number 4 is, are you capable of achieving it? Do you believe that you're capable of achieving it? And that's very close to number 2, which is possible. Is it possible? Number 4 is, do you think you're capable? Do you think you have what it takes to achieve this goal? And then number 5 is, do you think you deserve it? This is the one that was really interesting for me because this can really uncover some unconscious goo, so to speak, right? Like, what do we have swimming around in there that's not on board necessarily with us always taking action toward our goals? Because more often than not, what we meet is resistance when we try to accomplish anything. And it's overcoming that resistance that really gives us the great sense of satisfaction that I took control of myself. I said I was going to do something, I actually did it, and now I feel great. So a couple of sides in there, and mostly though it's those 5 questions. Let me run through those real quick again. 1, how desirable is your goal, or the end result rather of your goal? Number 2, do you think it's possible to achieve your goal? Number 3, do you think it's appropriate for yourself, for the people around you, and for the community that you try to accomplish this goal? Are you capable of accomplishing this goal? Do you think you have what it takes? This is a really good question, actually, because it's going to help highlight some things that you might need along the way. I might need some more training, for instance. I might need some help. I might need to enlist the help of people I know, relatives, friends, etc. And then, do you deserve it? I smile because that one really gets me. It's not something I imagined reading when thinking about setting goals. And when I read it, it seemed to fit so well, because there are so many times that we don't even set goals because we don't feel like we deserve it. So what does that mean? Well, that would beg a lot more time and attention, and maybe even some coaching. So without going too deep, I'm sure it's been at least 5 minutes or longer at this point, I want you guys to really contemplate these questions. And I want to thank Robert Dilts sincerely for these questions. And again, his book, Sleight of Mouth. Very cool stuff. If you're at all interested in coaching or neurolinguistic programming, NLP, that's a really good book to pick up. And by the way, NLP is nothing to be afraid of. I've studied neuroscience for quite some time and sports psychology, etc. So I come at this again with the view of that whatever tool works best is the one that works, but you should always have, or is the one that's best, I should say. And there's always going to be the need for multiple different tools that get you the same result, because no two people are different. And as people go on through time, what you'll notice is certain techniques work at certain times. So I'm saying for you. Anyway, check it out if you find it interesting, or if you're interested in coaching at all. Ask me questions about it if you'd like to, but those 5 questions, answer those for yourself. And I'm going to put those in the comments, actually, because I think they're so important. And let me know the answers you come up with. Let me know if you either aced it, if you think you failed it, or if you're somewhere in between. Whatever questions you might have, I'd be very happy to have a dialogue with you about that. So let me know in the comments. We'll talk soon. Thank you for your attention and your time. Once again, if you haven't done so, please check out SeanMarkinet.com. There's some free training there for you. It's 7 days. And I think it's probably the best work I've done yet. So check it out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We'll talk again.